Suplexes and stuff where legends collide. In the wrestling ring, we take you for a ride. Join us for the chaos, the suplexes, the stuff, because it's time for a podcast that's a diamond in the rough. Suplexes and Stuff is a podcasting pinnacle where the reviews are for fun and usually not cynical. What's up, friends and foes, freaks and geeks, and ghouls and goblins? Happy Halloween! And welcome back to another episode of The Intake, brought to you by Suplexes and Stuff. This week, I have 2 weeks of action-packed, jam-packed, good stuff, wrestling content for you to catch up on, for me to give you the past 2 weeks of my wrestling intake. Before I do that, I do want to let you know that upcoming episode of Next Up, featuring Coach Calvin and myself, where we do a long-form discussion of NXT, will have its debut episode very shortly, and we will be discussing Halloween Havoc Week 1 and Week 2. So we will be doing a long-form discussion about Halloween Havoc. Get excited for that. Week 1 was really good stuff. I'm not going to cover it in depth aside from giving you the results on this episode, but I will be, like I said, covering that in a long-form discussion with Coach. And, we're 2 passionate guys about NXT and wrestling in general, so you're going to want to check that out. You're going to want to have to intake that intake. So, with that being said, like I said, the past 2 weeks of wrestling content, which the main jewel of that would be Bound for Glory 2023. And before we get into that, we're going to talk about the fact that Impact Wrestling, as of July 2024, at Hard to Kill, excuse me, wouldn't be an episode if I didn't cough, at Hard to Kill, Impact Wrestling will thenceforth be known again as TNA, Total Nonstop Action. Good, bad, I'm extremely hyped for this. As if you've been following since the Duke's Dive days, now Suplexes and Stuff, I've been covering Impact Wrestling for the past at least 4 years. I started watching this with Ace Austin, one of my favorite guys. I said if he's going to be on Impact Wrestling, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch Impact Wrestling. And before that, one of my favorite things I had seen out of Impact Wrestling was the barbed wire massacre matches. One of them with Sami Callihan's group OVE versus LAX. One of the most fantastic matches I've seen. That was an Impact Wrestling match. So, I started following Impact Wrestling, and then as I was following them over the past several years, I had started watching past events. I had started getting into TNA, and I had followed a lot of TNA events, just catching up on it. But of course, I've never reviewed anything TNA on this podcast, whether it was Duke's Dive or Suplexes and Stuff, until now. Yes, I am going to be covering a TNA pay-per-view, a Blast from the Past event, every week up until Impact Wrestling turns into TNA. And with that, I already do have 2 events to talk about. Of course, the first one would be the first ever Bound for Glory 2000 I do believe it was 2005. Let's check the timeline here. Bound for Glory 2005, absolutely. And the one after that would be Turning Point 2004 for me. And with that, after that, Next week's episode will have something a little bit newer. Of course, I'm not reviewing Impact stuff on this Blast from the Past stuff. I'm only reviewing TNA stuff until Impact Wrestling will be known as TNA. So just the rest of the year. Excuse me. Ooh, happy Halloween. With that being said, let's jump into the intake. Let's just jump right into it, you ghouls and goblins, on this Halloween episode. We will read deep from the Book of Smart Mark as we jump into it at Raw, October 16th, 2023, when Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Ricochet, Piper Niven defeated Natalya, Ludwig Kaiser defeated Johnny Gargano, Rhea Ripley defeated Shayna Baszler. Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler ended in a no contest. Gunther defeated Bronson Reed. The Judgment Day defeats Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And we will move on to NXT Halloween Havoc Night. We're Week 1 from October 17th, 2023. This, of course, will be discussed long-form content with Coach Calvin very soon. Chase University and Angel and Humberto Carrillo win the Bada Bing Battle Royale. So that means those two teams will... Excuse me, let me explain this here. The Bada Bing Battle Royale ended with two teams, Chase University and Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, which means those two face each other for a number one. I do believe it was a number one contenders match. So yes, that would be that later on that evening. Chase University defeated Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Carmen Petrovic defeated Jada Parker. Excuse me here. Carmen Petrovic defeated Jada Parker, yes. Lyra Valkyra defeated Tegan Knox. And Shotzi defeated Kiana James. I'm just discovering this wasn't week 1 of NXT, or week 1 of Halloween Havoc. That's next week, yeah. Yep, because week 2 will be coming up. Absolutely, I'm sorry about that. Kiana James and... Okay, yeah. Shotzi defeats Kiana James and Ariana Grace. No, Kiana James. Ariana Grace defeats Brynlee Reese. Carmelo Hayes defeats Dijak and Baron Corbin. And we move on to Dynamite from the 18th of October. Jay White defeats Penta. Hikaru Shida defeats Emi Sakurai. Wardlow defeats Ryan Nemeth. Kenny Omega defeats Kyle Fletcher. Lance Archer defeats Barrett Brown. Juice Robinson defeats... Juice Robinson wins the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royale to close out Dynamite. And we move on to Impact. The go-home show for Bound for Glory. Kylan King defeats Jody Threat. Speedball Mike Bailey defeats Samurai Del Sol, the debuting finally Samurai Del Sol. Kenny King defeats Heath. Crazy Steve defeats Black Taurus. I thought he was going to behead him at the end of that. Crazy Steve. Crazy guy. Moose and Myers defeated PCO and Rhino. Trinity and Mickie James defeated Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans. And we move on to Ring of Honor from the 19th of October. Angelico defeats Gravity. Sean Dean defeats Pretty Peter Avalon. Mercedes Martinez defeats Marty Bell. Tony Nese defeats Ethan Page. And Billy Starks defeats Diamante. Oh, keep note on that one. Josh Woods defeats Pat Buck. Griff Garrison and Cole Carter defeat Myron Reed and Ren Jones. Kira Hogan, Allison Kay defeats Allison Kay. The Righteous defeat Kevin Matthews and Rob Gordon. And to close us out, Commander defeats Metalik. Move on to SmackDown from the 20th of October. If we can hold the Book of Smart Mark the correct way without it falling apart on us, brother. And that's what we call shoddy workmanship, dude. SmackDown from the 20th. Montez Ford defeats Santos Escobar. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller defeat Cameron Grimes and Dragon Lee. Io Sky defeats Charlotte Flair. Short SmackDown. And we move on to Rampage from also the 20th of October. Mystico defeats Rocky Romero. And I see Mystico defeats Rocky Romero in a CMLL Spotlight match. I do believe I would call that 2 belts on the line there, or 1 belt. A lot of CMLL prestige and history in this match. John Silver defeats Kip Sabian. And Brother Zay in a 3-way match. Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli defeat Brian Keith and Exodus Prime. Ruby Soho defeats Sky Blue. Now, let's talk about Bound for Freaking Glory 2023. Very well could be my favorite match, my favorite pay-per-view of the year. I'm going to sugarcoat it. Jump into the fact that we've seen Tracy Brooks and Don West and Mike Tenay inducted into the Hall of Fame, Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame. Open the match up, open the joint up. Chris Sabin defeats Kenta. This is a 9 for me. We then had the Monsters Ball match. You know how this goes. These guys are locked down, no food, no water for 24 hours before the match. But, PCO defeats Moose, Steve Macklin, and Rhino. God, PCO got powerbombed onto concrete slabs with thumbtacks on them. Just absolutely crazy match. This one also gets a 9 out of me. We then seen ABC defeat the Rascals to become TNA Tag Team Champions. This is a 10 out of me. Will Ospreay defeated Speedball Mike Bailey. Awesome karate action sequences. Ospreay with some awesome cutters. Bailey blocked the cutter and the hidden blade. This is an incredible match. It seemed like Ospreay had a really good time. This is a 10. Then we seen the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, a 10. I do believe 10 person. But we seen a lot of surprises in this Call Your Shot Gauntlet, where we seen Jordynne Grace beating Jake Something, Eddie Edwards, Kenny King, Juventud Guerrero, Johnny Swinger, Giselle Shaw, Jody Threat, Kylan King, Sonny Kiss, Bully Ray, Matt Cardona, Then we would see Jordan Grace enter at number 12. Eric Young, Joe Hendry, Brian Myers, Heath, Frankie Kazarian, Rich Swann, Jonathan Gresham, and Dirty Dango. This one was an 8 for me. We then seen Trinity retain her Knockouts Championship, defeating Mickie James in a classic. This one was a 9 out of me. And to top us out, Alex Shelley defeated Josh Alexander to retain his Impact Wrestling Championship title. This was a 9 out of me. With all those 9s and 10s, Bound for Glory 2023 gets a 10 out of me. And we move on to Collision 4/10, October 21st. Bryan Danielson defeated Andrade El Idolo. Sky Blue defeated Hollywood Haley. The Guns defeated the Outrunners. Eddie Kingston defeated Jeff Jarrett in a Tennessee street fight. Miro defeated Action Andretti, which I'll go ahead and declare October 21st to be Miro Day. Like it or lump it, that's what I say. FTR defeated Thad Brown and Darian Benningston. And Billy Starks defeated, Billy Starks. Big Bill and Ricky Starks defeated Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli to close out Collision and bring us to the beginning of Battle of the Belts 8. Orange Cassidy defeated John Silver. Samoa Joe defeated Tony Nese. Chris Statlander defeated Willow Nightingale, and the Acclaimed defeated Parker, Menard, and Daniel Garcia. We have moved to the end of the show, not the end of the show quite yet, but the end of week 1 of 2 weeks, which brings us to the first pick 6 of the show. Week 1's pick 6 goes like this. My man of the week would be Will Ospreay. Woman of the week would be Trinity. Team of the week would be ABC. Singles of the week, Speedball Bailey versus Ospreay. Tag team / multi-person match of the week, ABC versus the Rascals. And show of the week, no doubt about it, you already know what it is, Bound for Glory 2023. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Bound for Glory 2005. Now, I won't sit here and read too much into it. This is, damn near 20 years old, 3 years shy of being 20 years old, or 2 years shy of being 20 years old. So, I'm just going to go through it and retroactively, as I would any pay-per-view, rate the matches and the pay-per-view. Let's get into it. And it's just crazy to see how many of these people at the first Bound for Glory are still working, whether in Impact / TNA or anywhere else, or whether they're in WWE or in AEW, or, some of them had just retired, but not very many of them. And, several have passed away at this point in time, or have been on the show, or whatever. But, I digest. Bound for Glory 2005. We open the show with Samoa Joe defeating Jushin Thunder Liger for a 9 out of me. We've seen Diamond and Ruffs defeat Siaki, Shark Boy, and Apollo for a 6 from me. Team Canada defeated 3 Live Crew for a 7 out of me. Ultimate X match, Petey Williams defeated Chris Sabin and Matt Bentley for a 9 out of me. America's Most Wanted defeated the Naturals for an 8 from me. Rhino defeated Jeff Hardy and Sabu for a 7 out of me. And AJ Styles defeated Christopher Daniels in a Last Man Standing match for a... Oh, it was a Last Man Standing match. It was an Iron Man match, right? Yeah, I always get the two mixed up. This was a 10 out of me. Then, as of Rhino, he was also in this 10-man gauntlet because of Kevin Nash not being in the main event. Rhino wins this 10-man gauntlet out of 7 for me and goes on to defeat Jeff Jarrett for the NWA Championship, which would later on then become the TNA, and then, as you know, the Impact. So Rhino defeats Jeff Jarrett for an 8 out of me. And with that being said, that wraps up week 1 of 2. Let's go right ahead and jump into week 2 of 2 for the intake. We start off with Raw from October 22nd. New Day defeated the Alpha Academy. Becky Lynch defeated Indy Hartwell. Johnny Gargano defeated Giovanni Vinci. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven defeated Natalya and Nikki Cross. Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed. What the fuck? No, excuse me. Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn. Bronson Reed defeated Akira Tozawa. And Damian Priest defeated Jey Uso. We go over to NXT. This is the first week of Halloween Havoc, 10/23/2023. Roxanne Perez defeated Kiana James. Lexis King, the debuting, formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr., defeated the debuting himself, Dante Shen. Awesome match. Kalani Jordan defeated Ariana Grace. Ariana Grace, the daughter of Santino Marallo. Chase University defeated Tony D'Angelo and Lorenzo Stacks. Gigi Dolan defeated Blair Davenport. Anna Petrovic defeated Lola Vice defeated Anna Petrovic. And Lyra Valkyria defeated Becky Lynch to become the NXT Women's Champion. And we move on to Dynamite from the 25th, 2023. October 25th, that is, brother. MJF defeated Juice Robinson. Excuse me. Hook and RVD defeated John Silver and Alex Reynolds. The Elite defeated the Hardy Boys and Brother Zay. And Hikaru Shida defeated Ruby Soho. Moving on to Ring of Honor. Because there was no Impact after Bound for Glory, we played catch up on this episode of Impact Wrestling. But we seen it was on Friday, was a trip to the United Kingdom, which would see the debut of Simon Miller from What Culture Wrestling taking on Joe Hendry. And of course, on November 2nd, we will get that on Impact Plus, so I will be covering that then. On that episode, with the same episode, you will see me cover Crown Jewel, brother. Ring of Honor, October 26th, 2023. Angelico defeated Metalik. The Infantry defeated Terrence and Terrell, the sons of Devon Dudley. Dalton Castle defeated Anthony Hendry. Diamante and Mercedes Martinez defeated Athena and Billy Starks. Now, if you caught up with that last week, you'd see that Athena defeated Diamante. So, a lot of this was blamed on her, though. We'll see a little bit of we'll see something here. Kyle Fletcher defeated Willie Mack. Gravity defeated Slim J, Gringo Loco, and Blake Christian in a multi-man match. Layla Hirsch defeated Nyx. Lee Moriarty defeated Darius Martin. Rachel Ellering defeated Robin Renegade. And the Gates of Agony defeated Griff Garrison, Cole Carter, and the Iron Savages. We move on to SmackDown from October 27th, 2023. Street Profits defeated Santos Escobar and Carlito. We've seen Shotzi defeat Chelsea Green. Dragon Lee defeated Cedric Alexander. LA Knight defeated Jimmy Uso. Move on to Rampage from the 27th. Santana defeated Ortiz. Abaddon defeated Sky Blue. Willow Nightingale and Anna Jay on her return back to become #1 contender for a match on Collision. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Kyle Fletcher. Collision from October 28th, 2023. Jay White defeated AR Fox. The Guns defeated The Boys. Shida defeated Abaddon. What an amazing match. First of all, Abaddon came out in the most amazing Spawn-inspired gear. They were really awesome. The makeup on that was awesome, top-notch, the whole outfit. And then Shida was also dressed as Ada Wong from the Resident Evil series. And, of course, very fitting because she was taking on a zombie, the titled Living Dead Girl in Abaddon. She retained her AEW Women's Championship in a very highly contested bout. Samoa Joe defeated Rhett Titus. Dax Harwood defeated Ricky Starks. Claudio Castagnoli defeated Tracy Williams. MJF defeated Kenny Omega. Boo! We move on to the end of the the second week, which brings up a pick 6 for us, the last pick 6 of the episode. This pick 6 goes like this: Man of the Week, Samoa Joe. Woman of the Week, Hikaru Shida. Team of the Week, The Guns. Singles Match of the Week, Abaddon vs. Shida. Tag/multi-person Match of the Week, Gravity vs. Loco vs. Christian. And the show of the week is NXT. Now let me tell you a little bit about Turning Point, as I did with Bound for Glory. We'll turn the clocks back even 1 year before Bound for Glory 05 by talking about Turning Point 2004. This, of course, was the final TV appearance of Macho Man Randy Savage, and I'm not going to review that match out of respect for Macho Man Randy Savage. This had a Vince Triple H parody all over it, the whole show, which was pretty funny, jumping at almost 1 year shy of 20 years ahead, and we're still, it wouldn't be a very shocking thing to see any wrestling company parody Vince and Triple H. The infamous sledgehammer to the chair thing, so it's crazy. Even back then they were doing that. First match up was 3 Live Crew, which was Ron Killings, Road Dogg, and BG James, versus Eric Young, Bobby Roode, Team Canada. And Team Canada picked up the win on this one. All of them were very young on this one. Truth blew my mind. We seen Johnny Devine help Team Canada get the win on this one. Dusty Rhodes was in charge on this. He was the Director of Authority, which he would play in Santino Morales' role in this. #CookieGate, by the way. We've seen Siaki, Sanjay Dutt, and Hector Garza, the uncle of Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, beat Michael Shane, Kazarian, and Kid Cash. We then seen Monty Brown defeat Abyss. Excuse me here about that. We seen Pat Kenny and Johnny B. Bad defeat Disco Inferno and Johnny Swinger. Isn't that amazing? Johnny Swinger still on TV. They came back on for again for Bound for Glory. With Jacqueline was the ref on that one. Pat Kenny, Simon Diamond, who's a talent relation for NWA right now. We've seen DDP defeat Raven. Crazy stuff. At the end of the match, we had Eric Watts come out. Crazy stuff. We've seen P.D. Williams defeat Christopher Sabin. In this match, it was crazy. They were still talking about how Christopher Sabin was mirroring a lot of AJ Styles stuff in this match, and the stuff he was doing is just crazy. How it's become pretty much industry standard to see, especially in the X Division match, but all over wrestling. AJ Styles is coded into wrestling with stuff like this. I'm sure a lot of today's wrestlers were watching this X Division P.D. Williams versus Christopher Sabin match as well. You feel me? We've seen the Kings of Wrestling, which would be Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Jeff Jarrett versus AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and Randy Savage. Randy Savage, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles took the W on this one. We've seen Triple X, Christopher Daniels, and Eli Skipper versus America's Most Wanted, James Storms and Christopher Harris. If you follow Impact Wrestling's social media, or you watch their 24/7 channel, a piece of this match has been in most of those promo packages. You've seen Eli Skipper do the Hurricane Rana off of the cage to freaking Chris Harris. You've seen that everywhere. That's synonymous with freaking TNA/Impact Wrestling history. One of the most incredible, crazy moves in professional wrestling history, but especially TNA history. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps us up. That's the end of week 2. That would be the end of this week's episode of The Intake. Keep your ears perked and your eyes peeled for that episode of Next Up with Coach and I. Next week's intake is going to have Crown Jewel, is going to have another TNA pay-per-view, is going to have an Impact pay-per-view, which would be the United Kingdom's show, and there's going to be a lot to look forward to with that episode. And next month will be the debut launch of Tales from the Nosebleeds. I will be going to 5 Star Wrestling's Event 13 at the Pajama Factory on November 18th. So catch us there, catch me there, catch you in your underwear. No, maybe not. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for your patronage and your support, for sharing us on social medias and things like this of that nature. It doesn't cost much at all to give us support out there. Share us on your social media, tell a friend about us, word of mouth is one of the biggest things you can do to support. And I do, want to mention, I'll have all of Coach's stuff so you can follow him before the debut episode, as well as I'll have that all included in the episode of next up. But I want to say, check out Boulevard Good to Go in Nesbit, Pennsylvania, at the bottom of 654 here. Very good place to eat. I've eaten there several times now. Excellent stuff. I plan to eat there more. They have pizza, but not at the Williamsport location, but only here up at for now, I do believe the Nesbit location. So there's plenty of people in Nesbit that are privileged to be getting a pizza from Good to Go, and looks like they're really enjoying it. It's awesome to see that place busy, like I've said before. Pizza down there is excellent. I do believe that most days you can catch 2 pizzas for like $22, or a pizza and a wing deal. Really good stuff. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next week.